Welcome back, students. We'll continue our first unit. The previous lectures we were discussing on FM modulation and how to generate an FM and a PM signal and how to demodulate it or regeneration of your original information signal. And as a continuation, we will see some of the aspects of this PM and the FM signals, the Bessel function, Carson's rule, the comparison between AM, FM and PM, and few problems related to this angle modulation. So, we know your FM as well as PM are interrelated. So, here frequency is the derivative of the phase, or in other words, frequency is the rate of change of phase. So, the modulation index is proportional to the frequency deviation and inversely proportional to the modulating frequency. So, this is how your FM is related to the phase. Rate of change of phase is going to be the frequency modulated signal. So, how you can convert a PM to FM and vice versa. So, we have already seen how we are going to generate a PM signal and the FM signal in the previous video lecture. Now, to put in simple words, here an integrator can be used as a means of converting a phase modulated signal to a frequency modulated signal. And vice versa, a differentiator can be used as a means of converting frequency modulation to a phase modulation. So this is a graph which shows your response in decibels with respect to the frequency, and it creates a slopes of minus 6 dB per octave. So this is your FM output. You can make use of an integrator with the help of your carrier frequency by means of a local oscillator. So you will be having the phase modulated local oscillator. When you are going to pass it through, the information signal is passed through an integrator, you get an FM output. Similarly, when you are going to pass it through a differentiator, you can get a phase modulated output. Next, we'll see what is a Bessel function. So Bessel function is going to have the information about the modulation index, what is going to be the amplitude or the components of your AM and the PM signals when the frequency or the beta value increases, because beta decides whether it is going to be narrow band or the wide band FM. So what happens to the beta value? So this beta value is going to change. It will be equal to 0 when the frequency disappears. So for the nth sideband, if the number of n increases, almost your modulation index is going to become 0 and the frequency disappears as a sideband. So this is what is depicted in this picture. So this is your Bessel's function denoted as Jn. It is a function of beta, and these are the beta values. Beta takes value from 0 to 4 up to 20 they have given. So it depends upon the sideband. For n is equal to 0, we can have a maximum beta, the modulation index value, and when the sideband increases, you can see that the function deteriorates. So as the frequency increases, the number of sidebands increases. For the upper sidebands, you are going to have less amount of the Bessel's function. So this represents the normalized voltage for the various components of the AM and the PM signals. So this is going to be the normalized amplitude values. So it is 1, or it is going to be almost 0.6, 0.4, 0.2 and all. So these are the normalized amplitude function. Your Bessel function is related to your FM and the PM signal. You can see Vfm of t. This is going to be your frequency modulated voltage, that is going to have a carrier amplitude cos of omega ct plus m of cos of omega mt. So here this cos of alpha function, this is taken as alpha, mf is m, cos of beta, omega m of t is taken as beta. This is related to the Bessel function as summation of n is equal to minus infinity to infinity jn of m cos of alpha plus n beta plus n pi by 2. where m of t is given by this expression. So in place of cos of your omega mt, you have to substitute, you have got omega c plus n omega mt plus n pi by 2. So this will give you a message signal m of t. Carson's rule. So calculate the bandwidth of the FM signal is simple but tedious using Bessel's function. So the alternate method is going to be your Carson's rule, provided there is an adequate approximation for determining the FM bandwidth. So you have to know what is the maximum deviation del value and the maximum modulating signal frequency. Twice the sum of these two values will give you the bandwidth for your FM. So means of FM, the bandwidth of the FM signal can be calculated by means of the Carson's rule. The bandwidth P is equal to twice the maximum deviation plus the maximum modulating signal frequency, that is a baseband signal frequency. So bandwidth varies with both the deviation and the modulating frequency. Increasing modulating frequency reduces the modulation index, so it reduces the number of sidebands with significant amplitude. On the other hand, when you increase the modulating frequency, the frequency separation between the sidebands decreases. So bandwidth increases with the modulation frequency, but it is not directly proportional to it. So it depends upon the deviation, how much it is going to get deviated, as well as what is going to be the modulating frequency. Though this is depicted by the Carson's rule. So bandwidth is equal to twice the maximum deviation plus the maximum modulating signal frequency. Now we'll see what is a phasor diagram. So phasor diagram is nothing but the graphical representation. It is going to have the vector quantity. Of course, the vector is going to be a magnitude as well as a direction. And here we have already discussed in the previous video lecture about your AM signal and the AM phasor diagram. Just here I have put this for the comparison between the AM and the FM signals. So AM, you know, this is going to be the carrier, and you have got upper sideband as well as lower sideband, and they are the vector sum is going to be in the direction of the carrier in case of your AM. So it is going to be, if you project this, the dotted line, you will be having the extended line. So this is going to be the vector resultant frequency. This is going to be the carrier frequency. This is the frequency of the upper sideband, and this is your frequency of the lower sideband, and this is going to be the vector sum. Here in AM, vector sum or the resultant frequency lies along with the carrier frequency. It is going to be in phase with the carrier frequency. Whereas in case of the PM and FM signal, you can see this is going to be the carrier frequency, and depending upon the beta value, beta less than 1 or greater than 1, you are going to have either a narrow band frequency or the wider band frequency. You are going to have the lower sideband frequency and upper sideband frequency to be lying like this, and if you project these two form a square over here, you will be having a vertical line projected over here, and this point, when you extend from the starting of the carrier, will give you the vector sum. This is going to be the resultant frequency. So this indicates what is the direction of the carrier, what is going to be the resultant signal direction, and the upper and the lower sideband frequencies. Now we'll see the comparison, few comparisons between the FM and the AM signal. Origin is, you can see it is going to be audio transmission, and it was first successfully carried out in 1870s, whereas FM was developed in the United States mainly by Edwin Armstrong in 1930s. What is the difference? Modulating differences, you know very well that you are going to vary the amplitude of the signal. Your carrier wave, it is also known as carrier or the carrier wave, whose amplitude is going to vary in accordance with the modulating signal, whereas here it is going to be the frequency. You are going to vary the frequency of the carrier in accordance with the modulating signal. And the importance is both these modulation techniques are used in analog as well as digital communication and telemetry services. Frequency range is AM is going to be for the radio range lying between 535 to 1705 kilohertz, and it can transmit up to 1200 bits per second. That is going to be the data rate. Whereas FM is going to be having a radio ranges higher spectrum from 88 to 108 megahertz, or you are going to able to transmit data at a rate of 1200 to 2400 bits per second. So this is few comparison about it. Apart from that, we are going to have the comparison between the FM and the PM. So here this FM frequency deviation is going to be proportional to the modulating voltage. Phase deviation is proportional to the modulating voltage. Noise immunity is better than AM and the PM in case of FM signal, whereas noise immunity is better than AM, but it is going to be worse when compared to the FM. Signal to noise ratio is better than the PM. Here signal to noise ratio is worse than FM value. Frequency modulation is widely used for radio broadcasting. Phase modulation is widely used for mobile systems. And you can receive using FM on PM receiver, but it is possible to receive PM on the FM receiver. Modulation index is proportional to the modulating voltage as well as the modulating frequency. Here the modulation index is proportional to the modulating voltage. It does not depend upon the frequency value. And comparison with the PM, there are some advantages. Modulation and demodulation does not catch any channel noise, so that is a main advantage of PM over the FM value. But circuit complexity is going to be bit more, so circuit needed for PM modulation and demodulation is going to be a complex one rather than the AM and the FM. So when compared to your AM modulation and the FM modulation techniques, your demodulation technique to regenerate your original information signal in case of a PM is going to be bit complex. An application of your PM is going to be mainly in satellite communication. Overall is going to be for any mobile communication we make use of the PM, and specifically to say it is used in satellite communication. Now see some of the problems related to your frequency modulated signal or more in general angle modulation. So first problem we'll see a sinusoidal modulating waveform of amplitude 5 volts and frequency 2 kilohertz is applied to the frequency modulated generator, which has a frequency sensitivity of 40 hertz per volt. Calculate the frequency deviation, modulation index and the bandwidth. So first we will see what are the parameters given in the problem. So they are given with the amplitude of the modulating signal. So AM is equal to 5 volts. Next they have given the modulating signal frequency FM, that is 2 kilohertz. So AM and FM are given. Frequency sensitivity, your KF value is equal to 40 hertz per volt, and we know you are asked to calculate these three parameters: deviation, that is del F, the modulation index beta value, and the bandwidth B value or BW in some problems. Okay, to start with, del F is equal to KF into AM. You know what is KF and what is AM. So just substitute directly. It is 40 hertz per volt into 5. So its unit is 200 hertz. So therefore we can say that the frequency deviation del F is 200 hertz. Next parameter is to find the modulation index. So beta is del FM, your deviation into the modulating frequency. So substitute the value. Here you will be having 200 hertz into 2 kilohertz, or it has summed up 2002 into kilohertz. 1 kilohertz is 1000 hertz. So beta is equal to 0.1. You can directly substitute the 2 kilohertz into 200 hertz also, nothing wrong in it. Your answer beta will be 0.1. So your modulation index beta is 0.1. So when it is very very less, we can say that this is going to be a narrowband FM, and the formula for the calculating the bandwidth of the narrowband FM is going to be 2 times of FM. So 2 times of FM is given as 2 kilohertz. So it is on a whole it is 4 kilohertz. So therefore the bandwidth of the narrowband FM wave is 4 kilohertz. So we have found all the three parameters: frequency deviation 200 hertz, modulation index 0.1, and the bandwidth 4 kilohertz. We'll move on to the next problem. So here they are given with a FM signal S of t, it is 20 cos of 8 pi into 160 plus 9 sine of 2 pi into 103t. Sorry, it is repeated once again here, just ignore it. So this is your signal. Calculate the frequency deviation, bandwidth, and the power of the FM wave. So once again you are asked to find three parameters: del f, bandwidth, and what is going to be the power. So take your signal. Signal is given as 20 cos of 8 pi 160 plus 9 sine 2 pi into 103t. So we know the standard form of representing an FM signal. So it is AC cos of 2 pi fct plus beta times sine of 2 pi FM into t. So AC here, just directly interrelate. AC is 20 volts. Coming to the carrier signal 2 pi fc. 2 pi fc is here, it is going to be 2, it is already in the formula, so it will be 4 pi is also there existing in the formula, so leave it, take 106 hertz. So this 8 pi 106 is nothing but your 2 pi fc value, so it is 2 into 106 hertz, that is 4 megahertz. Similarly, coming to the message signal, your message signal is 2 pi FM into t. Already 2 pi is there, just ignore it. Just 103 hertz. 103 is alone available. It is 103, 1 into 103 hertz, that is 1 kilohertz. Now finding the modulation index. Modulation index beta, this is your beta value. Here is sine. Before the sine you have got this beta. Beta here it is 9. Since beta has got a very high value, that is greater than 1, then it is said to be the wideband FM. In the previous problem beta was 0.1, it is less than 1, so we took it as narrowband FM. Here beta is 9, so it is greater than 1, so you declare this as a So as a continuation of the problem, we know what is beta. Beta is equal to del f by fm. So rearrange the above equation. Del f will be beta times of fm. We can substitute the value of beta over here and fm 1 kilohertz. So totally the deviation is going to be 9 kilohertz. So frequency deviation is 9 kilohertz. To calculate the bandwidth of the wideband FM, your bandwidth is equal to twice the beta plus 1 times of FM value. So twice beta is 9, 9 plus 1, it is 10, 10 into 2, FM is going to be 1 kilohertz, so totally it is 20 kilohertz. To calculate the power of the FM wave, here it is PC, the power is equal to carrier amplitude square into twice the R value. R is not given, of course we can assume the resistance to be 1 ohms. Substituting the AC value, you will be having 20 square into 2. So the power is going to be 800 watts. So the power of the FM wave is going to be 800 watts. The next problem. An angle modulated signal with a carrier frequency is omega c, that is 2 pi into 10 to the power of 6. And it is given by the equation below. So this is going to be the phase modulated signal equation. So what you are supposed to find is, you are supposed to find the power of the modulating signal, the deviation, beta value, that is a modulation index, determine del phi, the phase deviation, and of course this is frequency deviation, and estimate the bandwidth of the frequency deviation of the modulating signal. So these are the 5 parameters you are supposed to find, and here your P value is equal to 12 square by 2, that is amplitude square by 2, which is equal to 72 units. Voltage square by 2. and frequency deviation is del f. We need to estimate the instantaneous frequency. So these 4 parameters are left to you as an assignment question. Kindly solve this problem and upload this in the Moodle. Thank you.